Okay, I had been making videos about Victorson County, Texas, and I found that I was doing some things wrong, or that could cause problems. I wasn't doing them wrong. It's offered this way, but it could cause problems. So I deleted a bunch of videos, and the videos were about these different things, but some part of it was these two mysteries that were going on in Victorson County that a lot of the residents who had been trained for investigation, they got together to try to find out what was going on. And they dealt with, one of them dealt with deliveries services. There's a whole background to it, like the people who made videos about it on the two local video, social media platforms that were just for Victorson County, Texas, and they were bad mouthing businesses, new businesses, and it was causing the owners problems. And they were doing it because they learned. They weren't bad mouthing because they should. It was because they learned that they could get a lot of more money from their audience, would donate money for them to go out and do reviews. And the audience, those who did donate money, loved the drama, is what they learned. Okay, well, Victorson County got, the elders who basically run the county. Okay, they said, this is stopping. And they did a lot of work. They actually, one whole area that used to be old tenement houses, and in Victorson County, they had those remodeled and everything to be a new kind of jail. And some of these were that people who were doing stuff like this, they would get them on different things, because these people were videoing like they're driving and stuff like that. And what they get them on is for like parking tickets, and they were videoing themselves parking in like disabled parking spots and on the road where it says no parking, and they were giving their own evidence against themselves. And some had a lot of warrants for parking. They just felt like they didn't have to pay them. It just had a kind of arrogance. I'm not paying that. So they got them on various kinds of things, and that was one of them. But you have to think, what kind of traffic tickets and traffic thing can you do that's going to land you in temporary jail? It was that the elders gave them options. You can, sit in jail for a while, and instead of doing community service, or do both, like that. Adam came out of the house. He's older than I. He gets bored when I'm out here. But anyway, that's his light on his car. But I was doing a whole series about that, and like I said, the thing what I've learned was it has to do with when you use these different, I don't know what you even call them, but different graphics and stuff like that, that it can come back and bite you. I'm not going to go into detail because I'm not a guru. I'm not a voice of authority on all that. I just didn't like what I'd read, so I deleted a bunch of them. But anyway, there were a whole bunch of people who were trying to investigate to find out who was actually doing all these videos. And they found, well, it all started with one woman, Diva, and she was doing them, but she was only one doing them at the time. And they got her, and made her, she would have had to go to court for each business that she badmouthed. And but they went lenient on her, and her husband was actually a lawyer, but her husband had disappeared, and that's the second thing that's going on there, is different people's spouses just disappeared, and nobody was reporting it because they were getting Dear John basically kind of letters, and that's a whole separate one. But anyway, they went leaning on her and told her that she had to pay back she had to pay $1,000 each one that she, each place, business, whether it was a restaurant or a grocery store, whatever, that she badmouthed on video. And it basically took all the money she had made. Yeah, basically took all the money she had earned, talking, doing the reviews. Now, you can imagine this is kind of more like alternative universe kind of thing. Because how often does it happen? But you never know. It can happen. It actually can. People get online and they make reviews about businesses, and they show the business and the location and all that, and they don't seem to think, whoa, wait a minute, should I be doing this? Should I be bad-mouthing them, talking about the people who work there? Saying things, should I do? And then also the people who do make videos of themselves driving around, and they're showing themselves run red lights, turn on the wrong direction on the road, and say, oh, well, it's nighttime, or it's whatever. They, parking in disabled parking spots when they're not. Just, oh, I'm only going to be in there in a minute. This kind of thing. And, there's so many things they do video, those making lots of noises in neighborhoods. Really loud noises. And the list goes on and on. People, some people, they're not even thinking, what are they doing? And then they badmouth the services they work for. They do things also, like they use their icons and their logos, icons, logos, whatever you want to call them. And they'll use those on their own videos, and that's a no-no, from what I understand. I'm not a voice of authority, but from what I understand. And, they take screenshots of their orders. Some people even show the person's address. Wow, if that's not a big no-no, it is, from what I understand. Like I said, I'm not a voice of authority on any of this stuff or any of the legal stuff. But anyway, I was making that video, and then it came to, me saying that they had finally, this was over time, and they had finally got to where they know who they, the people are, and they, some of them, like I said, had to do community service, and some of them got, took the jail sentence, in these newly remodeled tenement houses, tenement apartment houses. And so it wasn't that big of a thing, but, but they weren't free, for that time. And that's a lot on some people. They can't leave and go and, do what they want to do. And they also had to take classes and learn how to be hygienic. It was a big issue. And I've seen that when I watch some videos and I see people who are delivering and they're not very hygienic. Oh, some of the disgusting things I've seen. And I've wondered, they edit these videos and they don't see that they're doing this? Doesn't matter to them. Oh. I do wonder if some of these delivery services did go and look at these videos, what would they do? Really, what would they do at some of what these people do? On their videos, they show themselves doing that, of bad-mouthing the businesses, not being hygienic. What would they do? It could make it even more difficult. And those are people who are causing other people's problems, in my view. They're the ones who get online and make videos and they badmouth. And there's some people, that's all they do. Every day they have something to badmouth the delivery service, especially one delivery service. Every day. It gets sickening. It's like, if all you gotta do is complain, don't use it. Move to something else. There's plenty of them. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you have to point the finger back at the person. They know where their bread is, how their bread's being buttered. they're going to make complaints about the service. And it's not a service I use. So anyway, I think I'll wrap this up.